Hey everyone, so it's been a year since my last studio tour and it's time for an update. So I thought I would make this video and show you some of the things I've been working on. Not a lot has changed in this room since last year, but I'll go through some of the new miniatures I've been painting and dioramas, and also talk about some of the plans I have for the coming year. So we'll go through the cabinet mainly in this video and show you some of the new things I've been doing. I watched last year's video and I saw that I had this idea to create different categories on each different shelf. So maybe one is a forest and one is a graveyard. I'd still like to do the forest maybe, but right now I've kind of just scrapped that idea and it's all just displaying whatever I like at the time. So we'll go through each shelf one by one. Here we have the Lord of the Rings section, the Mimikul. It's the same as last year, except I have made a few changes. So I painted his tusks with the airbrush and changed some of the base just to update him. As I said in the last video, I never consider anything finished. I can always improve on something or paint over something. I thought next to him there needed to be some kind of Rohan riders. So I've got the Gandalf here and also Theoden, some other riders. Something I've done this year is paint everything's base black. So I used to do my Lord of the Rings in brown, but while I display it, it seems to be a nicer look to have them all consistent in black. So I just do that for everything now. And up here we have a mix of miniatures. This year I've just been purchasing or printing anything that just appeals to me, so I just have a big mix of things which I think look good and I enjoy painting at the time. So in my last video these two were a work in progress and I've finished them since then. So this is my Aragorn figure. He's from Nom Nom Studios, I think it is. And I have a video on how I painted him on my channel if you want to have a look. It's from last year. It's a Medusa bust from Loot Studios, and here is the Princess Mononoke finished. It's also from Nom Nom Figures, I think. Up here we have some smaller figures. We have a Bugbear from Loot Studios, and this one I tried a new technique, which is painting the shadows or the base coat like in different color, so that was having blue and purple airbrushed, and then on top with the highlights I did the skin tones and the fabric and the normal colors, but left some of the shadows to show through, so you've got this purple tone kind of showing over the whole model, and I really liked how that turned out. Just stands out from some of the other more traditional painted miniatures, so I might do some more of that in the future. Here we have a miniature from Age of Sigmar. Just loved the pose of that, so I picked it up. Here we have a Minotaur, which has been in my collection for a long time, but I finally got around to painting it. It's from Loot Studios. You can see some of the basing here. I have recently just printed some 3D printed some bits from a company called Epic Basing, and they sell really small prints, but you can print out grass and tiles, trees and skulls and rocks, and then add them to your base, and I've been really enjoying doing that, and it just kind of livens them up. So all the rocks and skulls and grass you see here are all just 3D printed and then placed on the base. Maybe I'll show you all the bits I have printed out later in this video. So Elven Archer from the last video. Those are from previous years. This one's new, an Age of Sigmar Barbarian. And I got around to painting my Alolan, what are these called? They're from Lumineth Realm Lords from Age of Sigmar. And they were very time consuming to paint because there's lots of different detail, the trim and all the details, but really liked how they turned out. And underneath that we have a big project which I've been working on this year, and that was these tiles, fantasy tiles from a company called Graven Guild, and they're called Hexton Hills tiles. And each one of these are 3D printed, and then they've been magnetized so they can all stick together in different ways. And you can move all these pieces and arrange them however you want to make your own maps. So that was really fun. And they'll just kind of snap into place because of the magnets. And they have hundreds of different tiles. They have all these different cities and villages, mountains and oceans. And we have these small markers which can represent boats and people traveling around the map. So that was really fun. I have a video on my channel how I printed and painted and put the magnets in, so you can have a look at that too. On the second shelf we have some bigger miniatures here at the back. The Nazgul. And an Ent from the last video, that's from Loot Studios. A lot of these are previous paintings, some skeletons and Asia Sigma. But these are new. Here's some also Lumineth Realm Lords. And down here we have the Fellowship. Last year I showed you how I stripped the old paint jobs and had these set up for painting, but now I've finished them. So I took each of my favourite models from my collection of the Fellowship and repainted them all and rebased them. Quite happy with them. And over here we have another piece from Age of Sigma, and this is like a floating island temple. There's this illusion where it's just held up by the waterfalls and the rock at the back. And that was really fun to paint. I've got a video on how I did that on my channel too, which you can have a look at. But just as a display piece, I like this, so I picked it up. And down here we have two dioramas. This one you've seen in the last video, but this one here is new. This is the tavern. And I installed a light since last year, so under here we have a little switch we can turn on. I showed you the inside last year, but here it is again. We've got all the tavern pieces. And then what we can do is put this roof back on. You can see inside the windows and inside the door. So at night time this looks really nice because it's all lit up. So that's that. And then this is a new piece. So I had all the graveyard pieces from Warhammer, which are all of these fences and gates, monuments and crypts. And I thought they needed kind of a place to live. So I built this little hill here out of styrofoam and did some modeling for the ground and added some of those epic basing bits for rocks and grass. And everything is still modular, so I can move these out and rearrange them how I want. Take bits off. And yeah, there's a few secrets in here too. So you can remove the crypt and you can see the grave here, but you can also remove that layer. You can see I've carved in a hole, and now we can find a treasure chest. I just thought that would be fun. It didn't take a lot of extra work, but it's got some little secrets. It's got some more under some of these too. You can find bones and little tunnels. That might be fun for when the kids grow up. They can kind of play with this. But yeah, you can always move these things and use them for gaming or whatever you want. I didn't want to glue all these things into place because I'm always making new changes. And down on the bottom shelf we have some miscellaneous stuff and works in progress. So down here we have a vampire that I want to work on. And also I picked up this new dragon from Age of Sigmar. I thought every fantasy miniature painter needs a dragon in his collection, so this was the coolest looking one I could find. And he also came with an extra head, so I might turn that into some kind of display bust piece. At the back here I went to Wellington, New Zealand and took a Weta Workshop studio tour where they showed us how they made some of the props and took us around the workshop. And this was just a souvenir I picked up. It's Gandalf's pipe. At the back here I took a pottery class and made that, so that's just in here for safekeeping. Up the front we have these old world figures. I showed you these in the last video actually, from last year, but I've made a little progress. I based them and made these trays for them, so we've got 3 groups. And I also have a Prince on Griffin that I'm stripping the paint off, so we'll have a nice set, and once he's finished getting set up we'll paint all of these. Maybe I'll make a video on how to do that on the channel. And then just a Gundam. So that's basically everything in the cabinet. So in terms of future projects for the rest of the year, I plan on working on all of these guys. And today I'm actually going to start painting this, which is an Age of Sigmar miniature that I just thought looked cool. And you can see here I've used some of those epic basing bits, which I'll show you right now actually. So I have this tray here which is all categorized, and you can see they create these plants and trees that you can 3D print and then upscale or downscale to make them whatever size you want. Cobblestones that you can snap off and glue on bases, and rocks and stones. I've been using these a lot lately as they actually look better than, you know, using a real rock. They're flags, grass tufts. So these are nice as just a change from the usual grass tufts that we use. More variation is always good. Lots of gravestones. So yeah, it's another addition to my hobby supplies this year. And I also plan on replacing this tavern one day, even though I made it by hand and I was quite happy with it at the time. I've heard about a company called Tabletop World, and they seem to be creating some of the most realistic miniature buildings at the moment, so I might have a look online and purchase some big 2 or 3 story style tavern as a place to hold all these miniatures. So later this year I might do some research into that, see what they make. And also I would like to look more into bust painting. So ever since I did this Medusa one, I've been wanting to do some more of them and kind of look into the artistic side of miniature painting more than the gaming side of it. So I've heard about a company called Black Crow Miniatures, and they seem to make some nice ones, but I want to research into some other companies first to see who makes the ones that most appeal to me. So I'll have a look online and purchase a few of them at some point too. Yeah, so not much has changed in the rest of the studio since last year, so I won't show you all of the things that I showed you in the last video, but yeah, so actually later this year we are moving house probably. So in my 2020, what year is it now? 2027 studio tour, there might be a big change. where I'm hoping to upgrade all of this into a proper room and expand a bit more. So that will be exciting. But yeah, that's about all I have to show you for this year. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you next year for the next studio tour, or later this year for some other painting video, I'm sure. I've made 12 videos this year, I think, so one a month on average was pretty good, considering I don't do this as a job or anything. But yeah, okay, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.